Hello everyone, hope you're well, hope you've had a great Easter. I'm starting to realise I may have to find a different place in the house to record because my nice dark purple black backdrop that just covered the back nicely and flatly now looks all light and see-through. Maybe we need a thicker curtain or something, but it's weird living in a house that's big enough for five of us to live in, and yet there's not any place in it that I can just sit there with a camera and film without just stuff getting in the way. One day maybe. So yeah, we've had our 4-day bank holiday weekend. Lots and lots of stuff happened. Weird actually, lots of stuff happened, but equally I slept a lot, which means I feel pretty good. I'm going to start on Thursday with. We had so we'd booked a dentist appointment for me because my teeth keep getting sore from all the stressing out about stuff, and I ended up swapping it with Ollie because he's got a front tooth coming through at a funny angle. That was meant to be Thursday morning, but then Emily needed one quicker, so we had her one on Thursday morning instead. And we were going to bed Ollie in. He was going to go in and see them and see what it would be like and have a look round the dentist and just kind of see how he felt. And which I thought was really awesome about it. I mentioned to them that, you know, he may find it really hard. It may be difficult. I mentioned that he had needs and so forth, and they were really nice. They just said, "Yeah, bring him in. You can look around. You can get to know everyone." He watched Emily have her teeth done and was so excited and interested in it all that he was excited to then have a go himself and let the dentist check him over, which piqued Ben's interest. So Ben ended up having a checkup. We're quite lucky because I didn't realise that kids are free at this dentist, and I had to pay quite a lot when I went, but that was great. So all three of them got checked up. They've got to go back in 6 months. He thinks it's awesome. That was good. Then Claire had a meeting with Liaise. She had quite a busy day. Liaise came over to visit and talk about Ollie's situation. They feel like we've done everything right so far. They're quite happy with everything that we've done. They've shown us where in the process we are and how these things go and that kind of thing. And it just feels, she said, we're just waiting. It's just a waiting game. I've got to catch up with the school tomorrow and find out where they are in terms of getting their stuff across. But it sounds like they literally just need to send in what they've already been working on, and then we just wait for the local authority to assign a caseworker to go and do the work on it. And I'm hoping that the school and we can keep on their toes a bit and keep on their backs a bit and say to them, come on, let's get this going and try and get it before August. But it feels good. It feels like, okay, yeah, we might be able to get this sorted. I spoke to the speech therapy people as well. They told me why they hadn't done the right report last time. They said that it was because the reports were new to them. They didn't really know what they were doing. So they were told to just put haven't seen it if they hadn't seen stuff. She said they're doing a new one now, but they're not going to do that for 3 months, 4 months. So unfortunately, we're all excited thinking that we might be able to get this report done now and then have a diagnosis by August. But it looks like the absolute earliest that we'll get that is probably more like September, October, the latest being January, February. So, I mean, it's a big sort of 4-month period at the end of the year where we'll find out. Well, we'll get confirmation. The doctor essentially said it's fine, it's confirmed. We're at a point now where we've gone through the phase of telling people he may be being diagnosed and he's going through the diagnosis, and now we're at a point where we're just saying, Oliver is autistic, and we're going through that. So, yeah, that's been interesting. We've got to worry at the moment because he goes back to school tomorrow, half days. That's just a headache and a half. I don't know why schools think it's appropriate to just have that as a suggestion, even if he finds it overwhelming being at school and that's their logic. Why they think that it should be okay to just make our family bend around all the extra half days. It means that tomorrow his nan's got to pick him up and have him for the afternoon and try and get him to do work. I think Claire's got him the next day, I've got him the next day, and then Claire's got him, and then next week I've got him twice. It puts work out. It makes me have to bend their needs, everything. Puts Ollie out massively. But it's all a bit weird. He doesn't really understand why he's going through it. It just feels a bit crummy, to be honest. And because we've agreed to take him out of after school club, we're now looking at trying to find a local childminder who's SEN experienced, and that's proving difficult because it's a bit out of the blue, isn't it? I mean, normally you'd have all this sorted in the summer, but I don't know. We'll see. Needs must. I'm not blaming the school either. I'm just saying it's a bit of a bum that we've got to basically try and figure out a way to have him looked after and taught in that period of time with no budget, with no kind of flexibility, and it's just like Anyway, back on to more interesting things. We had a great Easter between us all. All the kids were in high spirits. I think Friday I basically just slept. I reckon I reached a point where I was just ready to drop, knowing I had 4 days off. I got up late, did very little, kept on the sofa. I think there was, I can't remember, I think it was Friday, there was a random out of the blue hour of Pokemon raids thing announced. Niantic can make the game just basically spat out raids for an hour, so I drove around deep in. Poor Ollie couldn't come with me because all of his Pokemon were knocked out, and I'd set myself the task of resurrecting them all for him, and I thought, well, this raid actually worked out quite well because every raid he was getting 3 or 4 or 5 revives, and I was reviving them, but he had like 70 dead Pokemon, so now he's down to something like 9 dead through hard work on my part, and he's able to actually play it again. But bless him, he'd just been chucking so many in and not healing them as he went, and then I guess just wasting the heals that he had, and he just got into a weird situation with it. So I was out for an hour and a bit. I come back and said, what have you caught me? And I was like, most of them ran away, mate. It wasn't a good haul at all, but I had fun. I think that was pretty much it for Friday. And then Saturday was like a family day. We went to Claire's mum's, watched Tottenham lose to Man City after 2 great games against them. Had lots of Easter egg hunts around the garden, which I was going to film. And then I realised after they'd done it that I hadn't. But in a way, it's almost good that I didn't, because they hid them all. The second they said they were ready to find them, Ollie ran out and found, like, let's say there was 20, Ollie went out and found 10 of them on his own, leaving about 5 for Emily, and then we had to intervene and go, you know, Ben needs to play as well, and Ollie's still looking and grabbing them, and Emily was still grabbing them, so Ben got about 2. They shared them out afterwards, but every year for the past 10 years, since Emily was a baby, I suppose maybe 9 years, I've always said to Claire and her mum, count them out and remember where you put them. Don't just put them out and not count them. And every year they've forgotten to count them, and every year they're like, I don't know if that's all of them. And then in a couple of days' time, Claire's mum will say she's found an egg in the garden that she forgot to pick up, and it'll always be a big one they should have found or something like that. And they've never learned this lesson. I keep forgetting to, like, just do it. Well, not forgetting, they do it before I have a chance to interject and do it myself, sort of thing. But it made me laugh because they did it again, and I think they hid some at my sister's. I think that time they actually did count them. But no, they're always the same. They had quite a good haul. Claire actually tidied the table. I was looking at it earlier thinking I'll record there and I'll be able to turn the camera and there was like 20 eggs on the table. She got me a really cool one. I'm always a bit fussy because I don't really know what I like, and like the kids have got Smarties, Buttons, Kinder Egg and Milky Bar and stuff like that. And Claire got me this awesome Choco-Block Easter egg that has a... She goes to me, I wouldn't mind eating that cherry in the middle of it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of... It's my egg. It's kind of my cherry on the top. Ollie wants it as well. Emily wants it. I'm sure Ben would have it if he got a chance. And I'm thinking, well, it's my egg. I want it. What about me? You got it for me. So I don't know whether I'm going to be allowed to eat that on my own, but I'm going to try and squirrel it away during Game of Thrones tonight. It says it has raspberry flavoured jelly beans, white chocolate, biscuit balls, cherry flavour jelly, flavouring in the chocolate. I don't know what flavour. I'm guessing that's cherry chocolate in the middle. It looks very nice anyway, and it's exactly the kind of thing that when I see it advertised, I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind an egg like that. Because I'm a bit funny about chocolate that isn't Cadbury's half the time, but then even after that's not right. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm fussy. We went to my sister's yesterday for my niece's christening. That was fantastic. I was a bit worried about going to an Easter Mass because they're overly long as it is, and an Easter Mass with a christening in it is going to be even longer. I've not been in a church since I got married, and as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm not very religious at all. Don't believe in any of it, even though I sort of went to a Catholic school and all of that growing up. So I was a little bit, like, my sister asked me to be a godparent, and I didn't handle it very well. I was trying to explain it nicely, and I do regret making it sound worse than I should have. I basically said I didn't want to be because I didn't believe in any of it and it didn't seem appropriate. It worked out in the end because the vicar basically told them they needed 3 godparents and they had 5 picked, so they just took me and Claire out. Claire was a little bit miffed that I'd lost her place. Not like out my sister or anything, but she was a little bit like, well, I would have quite liked to do it. And I said, well, talk to Nick and you can. And she was like, it's done now. So she's not the sort of person to go and, oh no, I want to do it. So she just went with that. But I'm only used to Catholic churches. I'm only used to going to sort of Catholic ceremonies, which are very brutal and quiet and angry, and there's just shame everywhere, and it's very like, shh, be quiet and don't move, and if you move, you get out and we'll treat you like you're scum, and you know, everyone there feels shamed for existing. And so I was expecting it to be like that, to be honest. I was expecting to get really wound up, and I kind of convinced myself that if they were going to be like that, I was just going to be not disruptive. I was going to be professional because it's my sister's big day with her daughter getting christened, but I was just going to not stand for it. I was just going to, you know, step out and not cause a fuss, but equally just disappear. But when we walked in the door, they were like, "Oh, welcome, welcome," and you know, we were like, he needs to sit near an edge and kind of, you know, he's got his head. Ollie had his headset, and I was like, just the music might be a bit overwhelming and everything. And they were like, "No, that's fine." They said we have 2 rooms either side. If any of the kids want to just get up and walk out because they're bored, unhappy, whatever it is, they can colour in, they can draw, they can play games. They're all out there. Just let them go. He lasted really well, actually. So they gave everyone candles on the way in because it was Easter again. They sang some song about candles and lights, and I didn't get one because I was holding Ben, but Ollie got one, and I think Claire and I were just like, you've given him a piece of fire to hold. So people had to go down the line lighting, and then they lit their candle kind of thing, and Ollie was just there holding his like, trying really hard to be still, and it kept dripping, and Claire was saying, "Don't worry about it, it's just dripping on paper," but he was just holding it like both hands like that, and just like holding it, staring at it. And then after a little while, I think he just thought, "I can't handle this," so he just asked Claire to hold it, and then when they got to blow him out, he enjoyed doing that. But I just held Ben. I was like, "You can be my light, Ben," and I held him up while they sang. I think after maybe half an hour, he stepped off to do some colouring, and I just kept checking on him. He was going up and down out back, just getting bits of paper and stuff. And again, we just stepped out. I felt like even though they'd said it, I was guilty about stepping out, but there were loads of kids stepped out. When I went out back, they were being very polite. You know, we went to sort of take Ollie to the toilet or whatever, watched the christening bit itself, which was, you know, lovely and really, you know, sweet, seeing my niece all growing up and getting christened. Emily didn't have a clue what was going on, bless her, and she went up for communion. She just did everything. My mum was laughing because she was like, "I think we've converted her," and I was like, she didn't know it. She said herself, "I didn't know what any of it was. I just kind of followed," because she went and sat with my sister and brother-in-law and my niece, and she just followed them. So I don't know. I was like, I don't know if she's had any wine or what. She shouldn't have, obviously, because she's not done her Holy Communion and all of that. But it's just funny, bless her. She just didn't know what was going on, and she didn't really understand. She said I couldn't make sense of any of the stuff they were talking about, and I was like, it's fine, you know, whatever. That was awesome anyway. And right near the end, my cousin turned up. I've not seen him since Emily was about 3. I think it was my sister's wedding that I'd seen him at. So I'd just come out of the loos, and he was walking in, and I sort of shouted his name, and he turned around. I gave him such a big hug because I thought, I honestly didn't think about it till the day we were leaving, and I thought he was going to be there, and I got really excited. I thought, I've missed him. I haven't seen him in 7 years. Ollie's never met him. He's my cousin. So he's my cousin Paul, but he lived with us from about the age of 7, I think, maybe 8. We shared a room. We had bunk beds. Then we moved to a new house, and he had his own bedroom. And I remember the day, because he officially moved in about the same week we got a dog, and he lived with us until he was like 18 and that. And so I saw him all the time. We used to talk all the time. We're both massive Spurs fans. We're in the Spurs forums, the Spurs groups, and everything. And so I do see him, like I'm on a Spurs group for everyone who's ever been banned from the forum that we used to be members of, and we're both long banned now because they turned into a bit of a weird nanny state website, and we're in this group together. So we chat often, but it just occurred to me like the night before, I was like, I haven't seen him since before Ollie was born. And I was like, so he's never met Ollie, he's never met Ben, I've never met his daughter. And I was just really like, oh my God, I can't wait. And then when we got there, and my sister was saying like, he's not here yet, and I'm thinking, he better bloody come. Like, I'm so excited to see him. So when I saw him, I was just like really happy, really excited. Gave him a big hug, and then he spoke, and he's got a Scouse accent. Normally his accent's Essexy like mine, but he's got this kind of Scousey upswing in his voice now. It's quite funny hearing him talk. I was like, that's not the voice I remember from 7 years ago. That really threw me. I mean, my voice is different from 7 years ago, but I've not gone northern. But that was really cool because we were catching up then at the back of the church. I think the people in the church were a bit surprised that a bloke just wandered in and I pounced on him for a big hug. They're all like, because they were all ready to let him into the church itself and show him to a seat thinking he's a bit random, he's a bit late. But we sat and we caught up, and Ollie was really excited and just kept saying, hi Paul, over and over again, repeating himself. I'm like, why are you acting like this? Come on, you know. Ollie was really excited to meet his new cousin, which I think I talked about. We went to my aunt and uncle's second wedding a few months back, and he met another new cousin that he didn't know he had then. Funnily enough, they've got the same names and the same name as my sister's daughter. So he's got 4 cousins he now knows of. I think that's all of them. And 3 of them have got the same name, which is just it's just a bizarre coincidence because they don't... well, my cousin and my sister know each other because they grew up in the same house together. But... the other one wasn't really connected, but no, it's just one of those funny things. And Ollie loved playing with her. He's following her around, but she's exactly Ben's age. They're 20 days apart, so Ben was running around with her, which was quite funny because at first he kept trying to just take things off her, then she was massively dominating over him, like she had all the control. Ollie gave her a cuddle goodbye, and I put Ben down to give her a cuddle, and she just walked off, and Ben was like, all sort of upset that he didn't get a cuddle, but no, she was well cute and it was great. And so we just spent the day eating, drinking. My sister was awesome, got so much vegetarian food that it's the first time in ages I felt like I ate way too much, and all of it was healthy. The next day I said to Claire, we shouldn't, like today I said, we shouldn't eat unhealthy today, and she was like, why? We ate like so much vegetables yesterday in different forms, like why would we could eat literally anything we want. It's just like we could eat lard and we wouldn't be any kind of worse off than we were yesterday. So yeah, awesome. It was a great day. Really nice seeing my sister and brother-in-law and their family, and my family. My parents were there as well. I drank a lot of beer. The second Claire said she was going to drive home, because I drove there, and Claire just does not like me driving. She thinks I go around roundabouts too quick. I'm not against the speed limit, but too quick for the car, which I don't think I do, but you know, I think it's because she doesn't expect me to go left when I go left or right when I go right and all of that. She hates sitting in the passenger seat when I'm driving. So when we got there, somebody said, would you like a beer? And I was like, and then I said, I think I'm driving, and Claire was like, no, I'll drive home. So I had said yes, and then it was a long day. I drank a lot of beer. It was lovely. I felt really good. I think the drive home was quite long. We had to stop midway through, but the kids were all right. They were so buzzing from meeting their family and seeing the new cousin, and you know, just generally the fun of it all, that they were buzzing all the way to bed. It was brilliant. So today's been really just chilled out and nice, and just I promised Ollie we'd go out and play Draconius Go, because I played Pokemon Go all the time, but he got that when Pokemon Go first came out. It was in the App Store. It was like a rival to it, and I'd always been really like, I'm not touching that, I'm not supporting that nonsense rip-off game of Pokemon, like don't even give them the oxygen to be a game. So I don't know why we'd never really gone out to play it, but today I said to him, right, we'll go out and I'll drive you around and we can stop at the gyms and stuff, and you know, when we park up you can catch whatever you catch and we'll see how many we can catch on your game. Like I played Pokemon Go, he played Draconius Go. He was a bit bossy in that he was like, stop the car, and I was like, I can't just stop here, I've got to go park, and he was getting a bit, he handled it really well actually. I was very impressed. But he was like, stop, and I'd be like, I can't. And he'd be like, Daddy, the gym's back there. And I'd be like, okay, give me a second, I'll turn the car around and we'll go up the road. And but he handled the kind of, it's ran away, it didn't work. I was really impressed with how calm he was and how he just handled the negative, the answers he didn't want. But before we started it, so we went out this morning, drove around, because we had to drop Emily off at her friend's, and it wouldn't load. And again, he was handling that really well. He was like, Daddy, it just says I haven't got the internet. And his reading has come along amazingly this month. And so he was like, it says it can't connect with whatever it said. It was quite big words. And he was like, he read it out and he was like, it says it can't connect with the whatever server, blah. And I tried to fix it. I'm looking at it. I tried loading Pokemon, it loaded. The phone was fine, whatever. We drove around for a bit trying to get it working, drove home. The second it went on Wi-Fi, it started working, and I'm like, what's going on here? So I'm looking at it and everything, and I tried to explain it to him, but again, he took it really well. And then I realised that mobile data had been turned off on the bloody app in the settings. So he was like, oh, Daddy. And I said, well, it's not my fault. So I took him out later on in the day, and we drove around doing that. I've been trying to find a shiny Bunyeri in Pokemon. So I was being selfish. I wanted to go out, really. But I drove him around. He loved that. He caught so many. He was like screeching, "This is the best day ever!" I think he's just generally had such a high weekend because because he was saying yesterday was the best day ever. Today is the best day ever. He's on an absolute high. All these little things. I got him Hello Neighbour on the Xbox Games Pass, which he thought was amazing. We watched a bit of Pokemon Sun, and it's got the Ultra Beasts in it. Pokemon Moon, sorry, Ultra Beasts in it, and he was like, so I think he's just been on such a high, and he's been really pleased. So he's handled the bad beats a lot better, the bits that haven't gone his way. So I'm hoping that, when he goes in tomorrow for his first half day, that he'll be really happy and really cheerful, and it'll all go really well. I'm a bit nervous about him coming out of the school at lunchtime, especially because his nan's doing the first one. That was really bad planning on our part, but work. We're both conflicted. We've got stuff to do. Not that that's more important than him, but it's just it's important stuff at work, and his nan can do it. It's just I'm worried now that if he starts being upset because he doesn't understand, we're trying to brief him about it, but we'll see. It's not, if the first one goes bad, the second one can get better and so forth. By the 10th one, I'm sure will be better. I'm really hoping that they don't think, oh, this has gone so well, let's do it for another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. I'm going to say no if they say that, and I think that's going to be a difficult conversation, but I'm not going to stress about it now. I'm hoping that the 2 weeks go really well, and then they will just accept that he needs to come back full time, and we need to manage it however it comes. But it's basically May, June, July, and then he's got 6 weeks off, which will be sweet. This 4 days, the past 2 weeks have been really nice. I think he's better for it. He's improved in a lot of things because he's had a chance to just read his own books and stuff. I think he's come along a lot in the past 2 weeks, so exciting. See what happens. Hopefully they notice a change when he goes back, but we'll see. But yeah, great 4 days, feeling good. I don't think there's anything else to cover off. I feel like I've rattled everything out. I got about 1,500 words down in my book. I know I did a video about the mental block. I realised I didn't have to make the story go to the exact point I needed it to go there and then. I was trying to do a lot of, how does this person just make this decision and go and do it? And I was like, well, they can just say, right, I'll meet you in the morning or whatever. And just, little logistical bits just clicked in my head. I was talking to someone about it, and it just, whilst I was explaining the problem to them, it solved itself, and I was like, bingo. So that's been really cool. I haven't done any writing over the weekend because obviously I've been busy. I did a lot on, it was Saturday and Friday that I did a lot. I didn't do any yesterday or today. It's Game of Thrones night, so I'm not going to do any tonight. But no, I feel really good about that, and I reckon that I am still on course to finish my first draft in the next probably 2 months, I'd say. I don't know. It feels like I've been at the same area, the same 10,000 area for a little while. I need to get over 40k, and then beyond. I reckon it's about 60k, probably, until I've beefed it out even more. Anyway, I'm going to stop. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed me rattling through my busy weekend, and I hope you've had great ones. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to over Easter. Yeah, let me know, just whatever. Glad to hear from you. And if you've ever gone through the half-day bit, let me know how that went for you, whether it made a difference, what they're hoping to achieve exactly, other than just balancing the headaches they've probably got. It's probably as much of a staffing issue as it is giving them chances to be less overwhelmed or whatever, but we'll see. Hopefully this will just be a good transition back from the holidays. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because it's 23 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you Wednesday. Cheers.